We are live.
We are live. This is Past the Aisle, second week in the new year.
But the first episode of the year.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Kevin,
I'm Meg.
and we're talking about, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about a lot of stuff. So, I mean, I don't know, kind of like a grab bag of things that are happening in the new year. We just had the Golden Rule with Tony, so I had some stuff to talk about there. And then again, it transferred into real life discussion between you and I over
As
shabu
usual,
shabu, and it
right
was
after all the time.
tension, but then it kind of quelled because I'm getting better and better and better at that. So I'll get to that in a minute. But for a lighter thing, let's just do some housekeeping. I also asked our audience if they'd be willing to share what does marriage mean to them, because Past the Aisle is about marriage, which in turn for us, because we're business owners, is about everything that we do, because our our relationship is business, marriage.
It's symbiotic.
It's all the things. Symbiotic. And I've become the venom sometimes. So, yeah. So, a couple things. I made some notes here that I wanted to talk about. I'll take you through it too. We'll get to some of the things that people had defined what marriage meant to them later on or throughout the show.
Mm-hmm. People did respond in Instagram.
People did respond, yeah.
I was trying to find it, but I didn't see anything.
So there's only a couple. So
was it through the Levu page or my page?
through both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like wherever, because I know like we're still getting used to like engaging with people, because first and foremost, this is for us.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, how do we get people like more involved? And the reason why I asked too, not just for like how do we get people involved? It's in our marriage, it was really helpful when we got insight from other couples who had gone through something similar, and when we heard that they were facing the same challenges or whatever, like, oh, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? And it always helped to get an outsider's perspective on our little world, because
yeah.
you know, when you're in it.
Yeah, it's very similar to like one of our clients that built a community called Fit Mom, and it's just about moms working out and how to maintain fitness when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
It's cool to have a community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the same thing here.
You just need that support.
Support. That's the key term. And a lot of times we go through things, especially in your marriage, and you think, am I alone in feeling this way? Do other wives go through this? Do other women go through this?
What's different about our marriage is that we've been in business, we're married, and we're working from home. So there's a lot of challenges to see what is the difference. Is it our marriage, or is it our business overpowering our marriage, or like these conversations we're having, trust, mistrust? Is it the marriage, or is it us just working together? Things like that, right? So sometimes it just keeps going back and forth, I feel, and I get confused. Like, am I working on my marriage right now, or are we talking about business right now? It's always confusing, right?
Does it help for you to categorize what you're trying to talk about?
Yeah, I feel like it needs to be separated so the mind can really focus on what it needs to focus on. Yeah, you can try to fix it with all things, right? It should be transparent between business but there's certain things that aren't transparent, you know?
Well, if you fix your marriage, you can most likely fix your business. If you fix your business, you most likely can fix your marriage. Mm-hmm. Most likely, right? There's like a lot of other things, I think, because they overlap so much.
Yeah, they overlap so much, but should it overlap is the question.
It should.
You know? Like, you always speak about time, right? The time that you dedicate when you work for the business.
Like, I know what you're
saying. Then, and the time that you want to be the wife, right? So why are you speaking about, things that happened in your marriage in business, right? It kind of throws, myself off, because we're always talking, right? So just things like that.
Okay.
I mean, we can, whatever we fix in our business can be fixed in our marriage, but then like these topics, like specific ones or certain actions or whatever.
I guess it depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends the context. It depends like the time and place and all that stuff. That's all that stuff obviously still matters. But I think on an overall scale, like if you have a good relationship, you have a good marriage, you most likely will have a good business because you'll have better tools to problem solve or discuss things or communicate. These are things that you absolutely need in a business. But because our relationship was not always communicative or always trusting or always whatever, it did transfer into our business. Do you agree or no?
Yeah, I don't really know actually,
Why do you not know?
because I feel like we're always like both of those like or both of our business and our personal life has always been together. So that's mind shift of trying to separate it. Like I never, really.
So do you want to separate it or no?
I do want to separate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got confused.
Well, I'm confused myself. See, like that's the difference. I feel like it should be separated.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because when things are just together, it makes conversation a little complicated.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll figure that out.
Which is very different. Yeah, which is very different in all of our friends that we know of.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one has dealt having a business and as a couple for this long that we, like anyone in our friends.
That you know of.
Yeah, that we know
But
of.
it is out there, obviously.
It is out there, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's
So
Paul and Stella.
Yeah, there's Paul and Stella.
There's Anne and Romel.
Yeah. Well, Anne doesn't really shoot anymore or manages
It's
photo
not like they
film.
don't have any. They still work together. They still have that experience.
Yeah.
You know.
But Anne is always out though. Anne has a day job, so they're not always home right next to each other. Like you and I.
I think they did for a minute.
For a minute, but
Yeah.
it's been a while.
So they understand.
Mm-hmm.
They get it. Yeah. I think it's we're not that special.
Yeah, we're not that special, but we are special in a way that we had our business for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could also argue that I wasn't always by you too, because I was doing other things.
Yeah.
So in reality, it's actually not that different.
Okay.
I would say so, right? Not until now, like really right next to you all the time. It seems like it.
Yeah.
But I always had something else on the side.
Yeah.
Which meant I wasn't there all the time.
Well, I felt like you were there all the time.
Yeah.
Then
I mean, yeah, I felt like you were like you're always there, and
Yeah.
I'd have to escape. I'd have to escape somewhere, right? I have to edit over here. So,
Yeah.
but in the same vein, like we still haven't done truly one business together for like a solid time. So that's new.
That is new.
So that's
Maybe
what we're
because
doing
that's
right now.
the ADD in me.
Well, we addressed that, and we're not going to do that anymore. Yeah. And we just need to make whatever we got going on right now better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we discussed that earlier, just right now, where it's like, dude, we don't need to change every single thing. Maybe it'll get to that. But for us to not freak out or get overwhelmed or for you to get scared of whatever, like just think of it as, hey, whatever we're doing right now, we're just going to make it better. And if that involves me doing this, then so be it. It involves you doing less of this, so be it. Like, let's be open and let's try to not be defensive about making changes. Because I'm not here to, I mean, like, what else am I going to do? I'm just trying to make it better. You know what I mean? So, like, for us moving forward, I'm not here to, like, be down on you or
So what's the topic for today?
put a wrench in your thing. I'm just trying to make shit better.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to do. And I need you to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the topic for
That's
today?
the topic.
Oh, that's the topic.
You got to hear me. Hear me, Bem.
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes.
Trying to make you better. You're like, what? What's the topic? I need you to be here with me.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
there.
All right, cool. So other things that we want to talk about is changing my personal Instagram into the Les Vues. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did it mean anything to you?
I mean, other than the name change,
Not really.
well, I'm not like in the social media too much,
Uh-huh.
so I just like tap in and I tap out. Yeah. I'm mainly looking at other like websites and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the reason why I did it was I wanted us to have like a personal
Mhm.
thing, like where we could share this,
Yeah.
and then where we could separate the professional stuff, which is on the KLV side. Because I know you do want to share stuff personally,
Mhm.
but it kind of doesn't fit, and you would say that to me too. Like it doesn't fit in the KLV side. So I was like, dude, I have this platform,
Yeah.
and I don't really do much with it. And if I keep trying to put my personal brand out there, I'm still separating myself from my main focus. So I just thought kind of like in a split second, like, oh, okay, I'm already doing all these things
Yeah.
for us. It makes sense that it on a public persona, I'm also for us. Not trying to do my own thing, not trying to put this other personal brand out there. It doesn't really make sense for me
Yeah.
and my brain. Like I want it to be one track also. So that's what it meant for me to change it, and it felt really nice to just be like, cool, I don't have to like upkeep like a personal brand or something, because really didn't know where I was going with that anymore when I left podcasting and all that stuff. So I was like, well, I don't even have this.
Mhm.
So now that we have this podcast and we're doing KLV together, I was like, cool, now we can share it together. So that's your account as well, to access and share personal things. Like we've been sharing our whiskey habit or
Yeah.
passion habit, our passion for whiskey on there. So you've been checking that stuff out. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, it does make more sense because we would always speak about personal and business, and should it be connected together. I mean, I did stumble across other people, other photographers that just share their personal life. Like, for example, Jasmine Star.
Yeah.
She'll just share about remodeling her home or something like that. So,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like I told you yesterday, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, so I can't share my whatever. No, no, no. Like, I think if you have a bulk of information to share personally, like we have this podcast,
yeah.
it makes sense to share it on a personal
Oh, yeah,
brand,
of course.
right? So in those cases, like where it makes sense, where it feels good,
Mhm.
but for sure, like there's no reason why we wouldn't post something, a personal something, whatever, on the professional page.
Yeah.
But when we want to put more, you have a space to do it.
Yeah. No, but it's good.
And like some people come and be like really interested in your emotional side or whatever. Like some brides actually read my shit, right?
Yeah.
And some don't. Cool.
Mhm.
So it's great that we have other avenues for couples to connect with us.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's great.
Yeah. So we have other means of
But
like
it
connecting.
does look like when I see our videos, I do see our couples watching
That's cool.
our daily life.
Yeah. Yeah. So when they
Yeah.
for those who kind of like bleed over into our personal lives, you already know like, cool, these are more people that we want to connect with because they like us for us.
Yeah.
I can just be me.
Yeah.
And I don't always have to put on the face. Like you're telling me about an article. Maybe you want to bring that up as well.
Yeah, during client meetings, being a photographer that is introverted,
Yeah. Would you call yourself an introvert?
I would call myself an introvert in certain situations, but when it comes to client meetings, I'm pretty extroverted, a little bit too extroverted sometimes.
Well, you're in control.
It's yeah. I mean, you are in control, but then I don't put myself in control in a meeting. I feel like that's too overpowering. Like we're not car salesmen in a way, so I do keep it like if we were friends. Yeah. But the article says that those are 100% or nearly 100% introverted
Oh,
have a difficult time trying to speak up,
for
relate.
sure, yeah.
But then they're photographers, but they say introverts are very creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they keep to themselves and their energy is being put into their creativity
Yeah.
versus, being out
Right.
and talking to people.
Right. Yeah, and like if you're
But how did you feel when, for Bells, where you had to go out?
Oh,
and-
Bells is fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I learned the craft of how to meet with a client when we did it together. I already learned it. Yeah, it felt rusty when the first one came along because it was like, oh, okay, it's different because I'm not talking about me shooting. It's hard
Yeah.
to like, okay, it's kind of easy to sell yourself
Yeah.
if you've done it before.
Yeah.
But if you're not used to selling somebody else who's not there with you and you don't even have their work in front of you, how do you sell them? Well, I just had to learn how to do it, and I did it.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just go for it because I don't know. I had practice, but it took practice. That's number one thing. I had to
Mhm.
practice. Yeah.
Yeah, and then how does this translate in our marriage, you feel? You being an introvert and me being a
Oh.
semi-extrovert
Yeah.
introvert.
So I was just explaining to you earlier over shabu shabu that my pattern is to not stand up to you. Like I don't have the balls sometimes to say things that I feel need to change. Not for me, for us.
Mhm.
And for me to communicate that to you effectively, where it's like you told me, like sometimes you're scared to tell me the truth because of whatever, and because I make the environment not friendly.
Mhm.
And so the reason that being is because, like you said before, is like you only listen to me when I'm mad. Is like getting spanked before when you're young.
Mhm.
And so now I'm always in a state of mad and ready to spank when I'm trying to make some change happen because I feel like a mom, and then I get turned off. And if I'm turned off, then I'm irritated. And then if I'm irritated, now I'm mad at you, at the behavior.
Mhm.
So that's been the pattern. And I was like, man, and I was getting irritated, but before I would get so hot and heated where I want to quit and I don't want to talk you through.
Mhm.
So, but instead of actually quitting, I was just like, I want to quit. I feel like not having this conversation with you. I was actually saying these words, but I'm still having the conversation with you, actually. I'm actually still being proactive in discussing this change.
Mhm.
Instead of before, it was like, I give up, I quit, I don't know what you want. Like,
Yeah.
you want to do this, but you're saying that. And I would just go that way. So instead, which helped talking to Tony beforehand, I was like, Lord, give me strength. And I was like, yeah, I mean, this is why I get frustrated. I would just tell you, because you have this attitude,
Mhm.
or you want to quit, or you whatever. But that didn't mean I was quitting. I'm just trying to have the conversation as why this is why it didn't work before. And it worked, because eventually I got back to stability, equilibrium. I was like, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, like I was more patient than before versus exploding and we came back down versus it was escalating, like the temperature. We were eating the shabu shabu. I was trying like to enjoy my meal, but I didn't taste anything because we're in this tension thing where you're like, I don't want to change. I don't want to make more than 200,000. I was like, this is bullshit. I know you want to make more money. I know you want to grow. So there's something underneath here that we're not addressing, or
Yeah.
I'm not making the environment friendly enough to change. So I was
Well, I
like,
feel it is like how you approach me, like when you want to speak about something.
how did I ask you?
It wasn't really even an ask. It was just straight into the conversation.
I was like, why didn't you do the things that
Mhm. So
Jeff
it was
asked you?
it was just so abrupt. Like, I just kind of asked about, oh yeah, so what you guys spoke about and things like that, and then
You asked me though.
Yeah, I did ask you.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
Well, I'm always expecting like, oh, let's is there anything inspiring you want to share? But it's never inspiring. It's always our problems in our marriage, or
I think it's inspiring.
it's always problems in communication, and it always goes back to that.
Yeah,
And I understand communication is a number one key to a happy marriage. Is you gotta resolve your problems and everything. But it's just like, sometimes for once I just want to hear good things. Right? Yeah. And just hearing all this negativity, it kind of just brings the energy down.
Yeah. But you kept asking me. Let's be clear, okay? Because the first
Mm-hmm.
thing was, what do you guys talk about? Oh, it was good. Everything. I kept it really simple, and you kept asking me. It's like you were searching for something else, and I said, and then I tell you the truth, right? What we really talked about, because I know you won't watch it. And then it's like, you want a cheerleader. You want to be lied to. You want to be pitched to. I won't do that for you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to be your counterweight, but that is not my job. That's why I told you then during that moment. I was like, you have to talk to other people. You need to make other friends and other connections, because I'm here to make sure that we're balanced. I don't just say yes to you, and I'm not just your yes man. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to challenge you. I'm here to add more weight to the bar. I'm here to make you stronger.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm here. So for me, it was like, I have to be stronger in this moment. I have to see through your bullshit and mine. Because this change that this new habit, I think it's inspiring, because it shows me that I've made progress.
Yeah.
And you've made progress too, to even listen.
Mm-hmm.
and come back down and hear what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
Versus you went that way again. I don't want to change. I don't want to make more money. I'm like, no, I know that's not you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fear in there that we're not addressing, and I need you to tell me what it is. And then it was so simple. The little thing you said, oh, I'm shy.
Well, it wasn't relating to that. It
But
was to the email, right?
It stumbled through to that.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, if I would have heard that first instead of, I don't like all these other excuses, then I would have had a different response as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something like in you that I think is very, like I was saying earlier, is kind of unforgiving. Like you unforgive yourself for feeling vulnerable or weak. It's okay always to be vulnerable and weak with me, especially your wife. And the person who's going to be your counterweight, your counterbalance, who's going to be here forever. You must be honest with me. So I was like, man, if I heard that first, for sure I'm not going to be a hard ass on you. And maybe you didn't know that, so now you know it now.
It's a little different, It's still very different to me that, we just recently worked together.
Really together.
Yeah, really together.
Yeah.
So meaning that in the back end, it's very different.
Mm-hmm.
What you see in the front is different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because in the front, it's just me running around, going to weddings and going to shoots, come back at it. I would say that's like the foreground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the background is this. This is our conversation.
This is it.
This is what we go through in a husband and wife business, I feel.
Right. I think it's great. Like,
there's a lot of challenges. There's like mental blocks that I feel like I always have to break.
Well, you were asking yourself, why do I think that way? And I was like, I don't know. And that's one where
comfortability is an evil thing. I mean,
it's not evil.
It's sort of evil because sometimes
but you like being comfortable.
I love being comfortable. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't, right? But at the same time, it is an evil thing because then you are not inspired to do new things. You're not willing to experiment. And a lot of business owners, I feel, do take that dip in comfortability because it's been working for them for how many years, right? And they don't want to change. And I think I felt that initially after John shot with us for the second year full time, right? And then I got really comfortable. And then we got what we wanted was our own home. We moved out and stuff. And then the comfortability kicked in. And then when he, left the company, and then it slowly kind of really shook things up for me, and I felt good. Yeah, I was re-inspired again when speaking to our new team, like Qual.
Yeah.
All the questions that he's been asking me and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I see, comfortability it has its good side and its evil side. Yeah.
But you tend to be and favor comfortability. Like when I approached you with...
I don't want to be, yeah. It's like
so
I don't want to face it. Like,
how do I do that? Because it's like, for me...
I do want to take... Like, if Gary Vee was in front of me, right, he'll probably say different things. Like
he'll be like, "You're a bitch."
Yeah, just do it, right?
Just do it. Yeah, stop fucking around and do it.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say, fuck yeah, I would do it, and then I'll give some lame excuse saying that it's going to take a lot of time.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know why I always strive to time, but to be honest, I feel like what you said, maybe, you just need to start like breaking up your jobs into little things that you can delegate besides putting your hands in everything.
Right.
Right? So that's why in return you're tired, because you have your hands in everything.
Right.
So, and then I thought to myself, it's because I have my hands in everything that takes up all the time from me being innovative in marketing.
Yeah.
And then we spoke about the email.
Right.
And we're going to do that.
Okay.
So one thing at a time.
Yeah.
To,
So what do I do when I'm faced with a situation like, what would you do if you were me, right? And then I was telling you, like, this is too hard, or it's taking too much time to train you, or it seems like you don't know how to bargain, or whatever.
Yeah.
What would you say if you were me?
Teach me how to do it.
I already say that, so what else would you say?
What else I would say if I were you?
Maybe it's a good exercise for you to imagine being in other people's shoes.
Yeah. Well, walk me through the process. Yeah. And if it helps, list everything of your regular routine, and then I'll find my way in my own routine.
What if you don't want to do it? What if you don't have time to do? What if I don't have time to do that for you? What would you say then?
Then find someone else.
Find someone else, right?
Yeah.
So I can't do that. I can't just walk away from our marriage.
Well, see, then that's where it confused me, right? You're walking away from the business, not the marriage.
Oh, I will walk away from the marriage.
Which makes no sense. Why?
Because it's like if you can't open your mind to make room for the person who's trying to help you, then why am I here? That's what I would say.
Okay.
Right? So if I'm on the other end and
But you wouldn't accept like to do other tasks? You would just walk away?
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
Okay.
I was like, what would you say in that instance? Because if it feels like if I'm up against the brick wall and the brick wall does not move, like that's insane. So what else would I do in that instance? I'm trying to figure out ways because I just want to be prepared.
Yeah.
Right? Like I want to be prepared for the reasons that you may give or have given in the past for when new actions are introduced or new routines are introduced.
Yeah.
So I want to just be prepared and like not think like, am I doing something that's unfair, or am I asking or requesting things that are unfair? That's why I ask.
Yeah.
So I would just ask to do something else if you didn't want to do certain things.
If you didn't want to do certain things, you're
Right.
saying. Yeah.
No. If you didn't want to do certain things. So if I'm asking you, right, to, hey, help me through this email thing.
Yeah.
But you're like, I don't have time to do that right now, which is what you always say to me, right, on certain things, on certain new tasks. I'm like, okay. And then I would usually just leave it at that, and then the job doesn't get done, or it doesn't get fixed, or the system doesn't get better.
Yeah.
And it's still a broken system, and then we're left with it how many years later?
Do you feel like there needs to be like a middle person that we should delegate all this task to?
I mean, that would be ideal, but like
to kind of break up like this going back and forth jigsaw type of
well, that's why I wanted to take over the admin part.
Yeah.
That way it's me, then you or Jenna, and then, everything else happens. So it's more like a straight line.
I think it's like time for, like...
It kind of like goes like this, right?
It's like a triangle. And I feel like you need like a secretary or some sort of person that takes care of over that.
Well, that's what I'm proposing to take over first and foremost is, and that's a good just practice for you to let go of those tasks.
Yeah.
Not hire anybody first, right? So like first give it to me. Let's see what we can do. And then when we straighten out this system, let's see where we can just like, okay, we have a system here. Let's hire somebody to do that. Cool. We have a system over here. Let's hire somebody to do that. Like the editing thing, like I was saying, I was like, dude, we made all the things. Why are we sleeping on that? And it's slow. That's perfect. Like, let's go. Let's create an editing system.
Yeah.
But if you keep taking that away from us, then we're never going to create one. Right? So that's the same thing with anything. We have to just start as soon as we can.
Yeah.
Not all at once, but as soon as we can. And then just try to make it better instead of just keep doing the same stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to like the survival instinct of like how I think and everything, right? So the survival instinct is to hoard all these jobs or something.
Yeah,
right?
it's a good word, hoard, yeah.
So I feel like I've been hoarding too much. And I feel like if one thing out of the system that's been working for us, the lifestyle that we're currently living, right, I feel it would change. And I was afraid of that change. That, will I still get my gym day in? Like, are we still going to be busy as we were always busy? Like things like that. All these fear-based thoughts go through your mind.
Right.
My mind. Right. So that, and then when you bring things up, and then it just rushes through my mind of all those things, and I don't take that action.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I know you, and it's.
But you know, we've been successful for 10 years now, right?
Yes.
And you don't have any fear, which is crazy.
Because I believe in you, you know? I believe in us.
Yeah, I know. I believe in us.
Yeah.
That we do the job correctly and we do it good, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's awesome that you don't have that fear. And why is that? Other than, you know, you believe in us, that you don't have that fear of like any one of these steps. You know, can take a dip and things like that.
I just feel I've been through the worst part of my life. It's done. You know what I mean? And then when I met you, it only got better. And then when we started to really like dig in deep to this, like we could work for ourselves. And I already sold myself on you can work for yourself when I read those books. And then when you made it possible for us to work for ourselves with your photography, and I could support you there, and then I learned all the things, I was like, dude, I feel like I've hit my bottom before in my life before you, and it bled a little bit into our life together too, but like I made it through that. That's the worst my life could be, or the worst your life could be is you're dead. And I always say to myself, I'm not dead. And you would say that to me too. It's like, or you would speak about your mom saying like, she's living like she's dead already or something. Or she talks to me like she's dead already or something.
That was like, yeah, that was before.
That was a couple months ago, right? And I was like, dude, that's so true. He's like, you told me every breath that you have is an opportunity to change. Mm-hmm. And then I get hella frustrated when I'm trying to change something for us and you don't want to change.
I feel like it goes back to that conversation where, you're changing for yourself.
Yes.
And you can't change your partner.
No.
Your partner has to change on their own.
I can only lead the way.
Yeah, you can only lead the way, right?
Hopefully you follow.
Yeah. So I think in all good time.
All
but
good time.
It's always a good reminder that you bring these topics up. Yeah,
well,
it is a great reminder, though.
This is why we have the show.
Yeah.
I think it's a great mediator. It's the person in between, the digital person in between that helps us speak clearly, helps us listen clearly, and then we're better for a good week again until we have the show. But yeah, I don't have the fear because I trust in you, in your skill. I trust in my skill, even though it's not. I'm more of a jack of all trades than a master. So I'm like, I know I can just do stuff, and I could figure it out. I don't know how to do a lot of things, but I'd probably figure it out because I just know my track record. Mm-hmm. And I just feel you got to trust you more.
Yeah.
You know you're good.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're good in the art world, but you have to trust in other realms too. And I think you've come a long way in terms of being somebody who can listen, who can take what they're listening to, even though you do have blocks, but you're still able to actually open your mind to do it. Like, I'm so grateful that you're even talking about it, that we have a show to talk about it.
Yeah.
What Asian man back then and how we were raised is going to talk about their feelings?
Yeah.
No one.
I don't know. It's a little different nowadays, right?
That's what I'm saying. So you're only a product of your, how you were made. So I see the fear-based thinking that you were raised with. That's why you think that way most of the time. Like, you have a habit to think that way. Like, remember in the car when I called you out and I was like, why do you always think that somebody's going to screw me over? You attract that. Mm-hmm. I don't want to think like that.
Yeah.
I want to think like, oh, they're going to do a good job. Cool. If you don't, then whatever. Then I won't go back to you. No problem. I'll move on with my life.
Yeah.
So, just to be more forgiving. And I think for yourself, if you're forgiving with yourself, I think you'll be forgiving of others too. Mm-hmm. I just think you're very stern, which is good. Mm-hmm. But it overlaps into other people. You're so stern on them too. I had to learn that.
Yeah.
I was stern also. We were raised very similarly. So it's like, I know what you're feeling and dealing with. You want excellence. You want to be surrounded by excellence.
Yeah.
And, you want the people around you to be excellent. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I don't want to hang out with people that aren't inspiring, of course.
But if you're, if it's too tight,
then
nobody can breathe, and it's not fun. And we want to have fun.
Yeah. Right.
We want to make it fun. So, but I think you're way leaps and bounds better in a matter of months. Mm-hmm. In terms of me being able to feel safe to talk to you and say stuff, or I would just keep it in before. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, he's going to say no, he's not going to like it. I still think that, but then I'm like, just say it. I still think that. I still am scared sometimes where like, he's not going to like the idea of me wanting to take over email. That's why I told you. I said I didn't say anything for months. I've been thinking about it a long time. Mm-hmm. And I was afraid to ask. Then I talked to Tony. He's like, oh, just do it. I was like, oh, okay. But still, I'm afraid to tell you. When I was eating shabu shabu, I was like, come on. I was like hyping myself up, eating mushrooms. I was like, just say it. Just say it. Just say it. And then I said it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm dealing with the same. Those are the fears that I deal with myself, with you. It's like, oh, are you going to say no? And if you say no, like, oh, and then I shrink away.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to stand up. And now I'm learning, like, it's okay. I don't have to shrink away. I can be real with my husband and I can be honest. And if I feel something, I want to change it, we can try or propose to try. And then we can always go back if it doesn't work. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had to tell myself. I was like, oh, yeah, we can go back if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
We can always go back to your system.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But what if it really works and then you feel better, I feel better, like everybody feels better? Like there's always that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could work and it didn't work, and then that's scary, but also it could work.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're less stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that.
That's true. Yeah, I already imagined it.
So that's what Tony and I talked about, and I was trying to find the courage. That's the fear that I deal with, is like the emotional letdown.
Mm-hmm.
That's my fear. I don't really worry about our business. I know we're very good, but I worry about the emotional connection.
Oh.
And the communication. That's my fears. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, everything is like a domino effect, I feel like.
Oh, Tayeb says hi. Hi, Tayeb.
Hi, Tayeb.
Hi, Tony. Hi, Meg. That's Kevin. Okay.
I changed.
Tony is not my husband. This is my husband.
I changed.
Like, wow, he got shorter.
No,
So,
we're the same height.
No?
Yeah, we are. He was wearing shoes. I'm not.
Oh, I see. I still don't think so. So let's take a little. Let's still take a little break and talk about. I'm gonna keep this. Keep it. Some people's definitions of marriage. Do you have some on your phone?
I never checked.
Oh.
See, I told you. I'm really bad at social media.
Or you don't care. Discard.
I like to disconnect sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Yes, I do.
Okay. First one is from we asked you guys on social medias, on my The Levu's page and on the @KevinLevu page. Asked you guys, what does marriage mean to you? Again, I asked this because it helps, like, as a couple, to ask other couples what does it mean to you? That's kind of an open-ended question. So she said the meaning of marriage changed when Amara was introduced into their world. It had to be a little bit more of everything, more tough, more stronger, more patient, more compassionate, more communicative, more of everything. Marriage isn't just about us. It directly affects another little human being, and that makes us want to be better. Yeah, so when you know your decisions and your actions have some weight,
yeah,
it changes a lot of things. Obviously, when you have a baby.
How did you find all this? Because I don't see anything.
That's on the Levu's.
Yeah, but you're saying people responded on our page?
This was on the feed.
But yeah, you asked that, but
yeah.
There's the
I
stories.
don't know how you access those.
But no one said anything.
On mine, they did.
How does it look like?
Okay, so that was from Georgia and Michael. Those are our friends in the business as well.
Mm-hmm.
You'll actually also see Georgia as part of the video team and the photography team at some point, perhaps. Yeah.
See her next week.
See you next week. Yeah. So thank you, Georgia, for sharing that. I think that's a great insight. We don't know anything about being parents, but I feel like I can relate to that. You have to be more of everything, I think, just as the years go by.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the beginning, you're like, yay! And then you get more into it, and you're like, there's layers to you. I feel like I'm still getting to know you.
I mean, that's what I think. Yeah, any marriage, you're trying to get to know a person.
Yeah, as a layer. It's like,
I think I'm still trying to get to know myself.
yeah.
Yeah, I think each person is trying to discover themselves in their life.
With somebody else, it's quite a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite a hefty take, and to be committed and to be committed young, and then to imagine you take it all the way till our 90s or something.
Yeah, because you don't. We haven't experienced life to the fullest yet.
Not yet. Yeah, we're barely here, man. So we have a lot to do, and it's going to require more from us. We're going to have to get stronger. We're going to have to be more patient and all that stuff. So, Yeah, that's a nice. Here's another one. Marriage means constant. This is from Hey Cray. Oh, Hey Cray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marriage means constantly bettering oneself for not only you for your good, but for another's and God. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
It's
was it?
yeah. That's just what we talked about. Vince and Katie said commitment. That's what marriage means. Commitment. Yes. Definitely, you got to be committed for sure. I think those are all of them.
How'd
So-
you access that?
They're on the feed here, on the Levu's feed,
Where is it?
under the hearts.
It's under the hearts?
Yeah, if you like log into the Levu's.
No, but so I guess no one replied to when you asked it.
Yeah, I guess.
So
You go to your heart because yours are flooded.
you go
like, you have
heart
to,
and then
yeah.
what?
and then I just find it. I just scroll until I find the answer.
Oh, it's like that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think
Well.
so because that's how I found these.
That's too hard.
I know. Yours, you have a lot of comments. So, but yeah, thank you guys for sharing that. That's really nice. So we'll try to, ask more questions like that and have you guys your answers featured on the show where we can stimulate even more discussion. But yeah, this podcast is definitely about bettering oneself, like Hey Cray said.
Mm-hmm.
So, another thing I wanted to talk about. Are you thinking of anything?
No.
Okay. Let me pull this up really quick. Can you say stuff in between so it's not a dead silence?
Oh, okay. I think I don't know what to say now.
Why? I'm just trying to find my notes here. Okay. What's new in your whiskey collection?
Oh yeah. So we tried the Cayo
Yeah.
whiskey yesterday. It's
So bad.
yeah, what's interesting about it, it's aged in a Mizunara oak, and
Mizunara.
it takes it on a journey. This cask goes on a boat, and it goes on an expedition from Osaka, Japan, through the Indian Ocean and Atlantic Ocean for 3 months and back to Osaka.
Yeah. Well, okay. So normally they age whiskey in wooden casks, usually made out of American oak or European oak, and it will
Yeah.
sit in a maturation like warehouse, basically, where it's temperature controlled and all this stuff, right? Not too much, because like if it's hot, it's hot, cool. If it's cold, it's cold, whatever.
Yeah.
And they just let that influence the whiskey's flavor. This one, it takes off from Osaka, and it goes on a boat.
It goes on boat. It's not temperature control.
And it just finishes
yeah.
maturing there at sea.
At sea, yeah.
It's amazing. So
It's actually a great trial and error whiskey.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're like,
I
let's
feel like
see.
they're like, it's like sort of, I'll show you the whiskey world.
Yeah.
That it doesn't just need to be aged in a temperature controlled
It's
area.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were just breaking boundaries.
Breaking the boundaries, and whiskey in Japan, for it to be called whiskey, is not so stringent. Their rules are not so crazy. Like, I'm sure you couldn't do this in Scotland to be called Scotch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice that Japan has some flexibility, like they always do. They're like, cool, I like what you're doing, Scotland. I'm going to make it my own.
Maybe that's why they said it's produced from Hong Kong, Cayo. Maybe they didn't want to break any Japan's rules, so they put all the liability on saying that it's produced in Hong Kong. But it is a Japanese whiskey.
It's a Japanese
and
whiskey.
It came from Japan.
Right.
Yeah. So now that
Interesting.
makes sense.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
have to, that would be cool to research.
Yeah.
Other new things is that we now have a new team page on kevinlevu.com. I've redone it how many times?
This will be the last time.
Thank you. Okay, so.
And our photo booth.
And
we
our new photo
also-
booth page is there too.
Yeah. We're going full blast with our new photo booth
I have to pee so bad.
for this year. Yeah.
Right. Okay, and then health and fitness updates from you.
I did train my mom earlier today.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So knowing my mom, she works out like I would say almost every day. She
Yeah.
spends 2 hours on a treadmill, and she wears her Apple Watch, and we always get status updates of how many calories she burns.
Yeah.
And it says that she burns like 600 something calories.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, you're in shape, Mom.
Oh,
So
I see. That's why.
come on through, and she accepted it.
Yeah.
You know, like what I wrote in her Christmas card is that we gotta spend more time together, do like activities together.
Yeah, that's cool.
And she was like, yeah, okay, so let's do it once a week.
I bought the card.
Yeah, you did.
I bought the card, Mom. I did that.
So yeah, once a week to do some activities together, and
That's
because she
cool.
likes to exercise, she's all about health and fitness and everything.
Yeah.
And then we went to.
I didn't hear what you guys were saying. I was working.
Yeah, so we were in here. Started out with the stretch,
Yeah.
normal stretch, and then jumping jacks.
What kind of stretch?
You know, like I can't describe it.
Oh.
But yeah, it's just whatever
What,
I
like
learned
this?
from P90X.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
whatever I learned from P90X in their stretch portion.
Yeah.
I just implemented that into our workout.
Yeah.
And then she was winded after the jumping jack, so I was like, that's a little different.
Huh.
She's like, no more. I think that's good for today. I was like, that was only 10
After
minutes.
jumping jacks?
That was only 10 minutes of stretch. Anyways, and then I was like, but then at the same time,
Yeah.
throughout these years, I don't think she had a personal trainer that pushes people, you know, like that's what personal trainers do, right?
Yeah.
They try to, get you, challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I felt she needed a challenge.
Yeah.
And she did challenge herself.
Yeah.
So after the stretch, we went straight into the TRX and do low rows.
Okay.
And she did 40 seconds and 10-second rest.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is great.
Yeah.
But then she was doing it quick. I was like, you can take it easy.
Oh,
but it's
so
up
she
to
just
you.
went ham.
Yeah, she just went ham on herself.
Oh.
I was like, go at your own pace. You don't need
Yeah.
to, go
Go
at as quick as
That's
the
probably
timer
why.
or something. Yeah.
And she never tried that exercise before, right?
No, yeah, she haven't. So it was
Awesome.
really good.
That's
and
cool.
then my ultimate goal was to just give her the rundown of a full body workout
Yeah.
without strenuous heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to work on toning and just getting a good cardio out of it.
Yeah.
And also time.
Yeah.
So try it. Shrink down that 2 hours of workout daily into like 30 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and still burn the same amount.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
minimum effective dose.
Yeah.
Yeah. MED.
Yeah.
You don't need to work 2 hours and then
Yeah.
not accomplish anything.
Exactly.
I learned that in a Tim Ferriss book.
Yeah, I also read the reason why I started lifting heavier, right?
Yeah, because you can get more done.
You burn more calories when you lift heavier. And they say when you don't even work out, just because you're lifting heavier, you're burning calories on your off days as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and I think you said that as well a while back.
Yeah.
So I went back into just building strength.
I will be back.
Building strength versus building cardio. Like, I don't want to be like that skinny.
Skinny fat.
Yeah, skinny fat, right? And then other things I read online was that carcinogens, and you're building less testosterone when you're just working out just cardio without strength training.
Is that why they got like all saggy?
And then but then these cancerous type cells will start to come out.
When you're doing cardio only?
Like when you're still exercising, right? But you're not really challenging your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all these bad
Free radicals?
Yeah, they're free radicals. Yeah, starts to be produced.
Oh, you know,
So when you do lift heavy, you're building testosterone level,
Right.
which is better.
right.
Yeah.
You know Clint Eastwood, right?
Mhm.
Fucking old.
Yeah.
But how old he is, he still lifts heavy ass weights.
Yeah.
And he still looks pretty trim.
Yeah.
And you could see his muscle definition and everything.
Yeah.
And he's really old. And he's like, and they interviewed him, what's your number one thing? He's like, lift heavy weights.
Yeah.
That's it.
But I agree.
That's all he said.
But after reading that article,
Yeah.
you don't want those free radicals.
But it's relative to you. So don't be
Mhm.
like my weight and then or my size.
Yeah, it
and then
is
try to
relative
lift
you.
freaking heavy
Yeah.
or whatever. Heavy for you.
Yeah, heavy for you.
And
And at your own pace.
and safely.
Yeah.
Safely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get back to there.
But that's why HIIT exercise is good along with strength training.
Yeah, because it's like that explosive.
Yeah, you need the explosive, high intensity workout, not the low intensity that takes you 2 hours.
You just gotta look at a sprinter versus a cross country runner.
Yeah, one that looks like a slinky, and the other one looks like a brick.
Yeah, a nice brick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing. Okay. Yeah. Goals for me. Fitness goals. So, do you have a fitness goal that you wanted to share? I know you just talked about your mom right now.
I mean, I'm just trying to have a really balanced program that I can sustain for, I would say, this first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm working out by myself,
Dang bird. Now that I'm working out by myself.
That's funny.
Winky, 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 winky. We only had one member. Guess who flaked?
But either way, because I had an incident yesterday, I didn't have a spotter, right?
Careful.
But I am careful. It was just my muscle gave out. So
that's still not careful.
But, yeah, but I still like to lift heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful, Bim.
Mm-hmm.
You're the master photographer. I don't have another master photographer.
Yeah, you do.
I only have a lead photographer.
That will become a master.
Yeah. Yeah. She gotta hurry up though. You keep lifting crazy. Okay, so balanced for this quarter. Lift heavy.
Lift heavy.
HIIT.
Weight is not like, I stopped paying attention to the numbers. Like,
does that mean you're gonna stop hounding me with all these new things you want to buy?
No, it's not that. I mean, that's strength training. I need that. Like, I maxed that out already.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
else?
That's
the goal. Yeah, that is it.
What else?
That is it.
Okay. Okay, so for me, I just want to move without pain. I think I'm getting way better. I used to deal with so much chronic pain, but I have now this imbalance. I have one leg that is overdeveloped than the other one because of my knee injury. So this is what I learned. We do a lot of bilateral movement, right? 2 legs, squat, dead. So I have to learn how to do some single leg movements that don't involve my knee. And I found out yesterday, which is a single leg deadlift. I couldn't do the Romanian split squat. I couldn't do the lunge. I couldn't do any of that. It was really painful. So if any of y'all dealing with some knee pain and you can't bend your knee or put any load on your knee, like leg press, I can't do that. I can't even do it with a resistance band, leg press. That's how painful it is because the knee is still a little off. So in the meantime, I'm going to do my single leg deadlift with just a 3-pound weight on the other side. And that's been, I think it's working because I feel the burn in one leg only. So I'm just going to try that and see where I am for that first quarter. So that's my goal.
Cool.
And I've been steadily moving up in weight on all my lifts.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So that's my fitness goal there. And then any home projects?
You're doing home projects.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about that because we just redid the what do you call it? The dining table.
The dining table.
And it was so therapeutic to sand it.
Yeah. My quick home project is figuring out how to sweep.
Sweep what?
The bird that just died today by a hawk.
Yeah, you still don't know how to use a goddamn broom. So, yeah, that should be your project. I was like, you're using this broom wrong. Okay. And another thing is I do want to make our master bedroom beauty and our whole home beauty because, like, I feel...
It's beauty enough.
No, it's not. So, once your mind feels like you're in a relaxed state, you're like, dope, I can go kill it in my office. Or if your office looks dope, you'll want to be there more. You know,
I'm there.
Or do a lot of good work there, or be inspired in your office instead of it just being 4 blank walls.
It's hard. I mean, you have a different perspective.
So that's my perspective on it. And like, most men would just work in a fucking garbage can. But until a woman comes in, then it looks actually really nice. So that's my goal. And you also bought me this book called Homebody. I was like, that's me. But it's by the Joanna Gaines from Target. And she had a really good book on theory.
Yeah.
And it inspired me to go, cool, dude. Because I wanted to write a book for us, like a 10th anniversary memoir of your career.
Of our career.
Our career, of the KOV story and journey. I think there's a lot to there that I feel I want to share. And I could be your voice in that way. I always hear a lot of really great, inspiring stories from you, but you don't verbalize them or you don't write them. And so I feel like I could do that and show that in a really nice memoir in a book. And the way that she wrote her book, I was like, cool, that's I want to incorporate some of the things that how she wrote it.
Yeah.
Like her theory of design, but how she spoke to you as somebody going, oh, that's great. Or I'm like, am I really going to design everything crazy?
Yeah.
Not really, but it's beautiful to look at and it's inspiring. And like when I was just looking at it, I was like, dude, this is awesome. And I feel a little bit more connected to her. And I feel like I know her a little bit better. And I want the same for our couples with us.
And then Qual was saying that you should write a second shooter book.
I know, he told me that. I could write that, yeah. I know. And my mentor told me too. He's like, you know what to do. I was like, it's just doing it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let me just one thing at a time. That's our new motto in the house.
Yeah. It's
one thing at a time.
That one thing is very complex.
One thing at a time. Yeah, we used to have this, or we do have this whiteboard, and it used to be full of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you brought it up where it's like, this is a lot. I want to have fun and not get bogged down with all. I was like, yeah, me too. So let's do that. Like, let's try to have fun. We're going to golf after this. We're going to try to inject more fun into our lives, even though we need it. We need it to come down and relax and enjoy each other besides just business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So last thing that I want to close with, because I really have to go pee-pee time, is our friend is dealing with lymphoma. We've known them for quite some time. They were friends actually of Michael and Georgia. So that's how we know them.
We used to play board games together.
Board game night and everything. We don't do them as much anymore. But if you would like to check out their story and support them, I'll leave a link in the description after this because this is live right now. So I'll put it in the description when it goes live. If you want to help donate for their, it's a GoFundMe campaign, right? So I'll put the link there to help our friends. Any amount, doesn't matter how much, I think would be very helpful. And just to know that they have, our support, that the Past the Aisle listeners are supporting them as well. And if you guys have anything that we should maybe know about, like, feel free to engage with us, and then we can maybe discuss it or talk about it here on the show. I think that'd be kind of cool. Cool. So yeah, that's it. Any last things?
I think that's it.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out here on Past the Aisle.
Thank you, guys.
My name is Meg.
My name's Kev, and we will see you next Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.